health, wealth, and spirit, you got to go back to Africa. For health, wealth, and spirit, you got to go back to Africa. For health, wealth, and spirit, you got to go back to Africa. For health, wealth, and spirit, you got to go back to Africa. For health, wealth, and spirit, you've got to go back to Africa. For health, wealth, and spirit, you got to go back to Africa. This is why everyone needs to go back to Africa, to the ancient sciences of Africa. About 7,000 years ago, 3 astronomer priestesses gave to the world higher mathematics. They came from Eastern Africa, around Mount Kilimanjaro, around the Congo, and around Namibia. They all came down to Kemet. They rode on the Nile River and came down to Kemet. The goddess Ata Shimati is credited for creating calculus. The astronomer priestess Sheshet is credited with the creation of trigonometry. Priestess Sheshet analyzed curves by dividing the area under a curve into a series of rectangles, which is the basis of integral calculus. In analyzing the curvature of the earth, she used rectangles 6 feet wide. Geometry was created by the astronomer priestess Teki, and with that evolved the controlling of the flow of the Nile River so that maximum enrichment of the land would result. Now, these are the references. English historian Gerard Massey wrote about them in Ancient Egypt, The Light of the World. G. Michanowski, Livio C. Stecchini, and E. Wallace Bosch, who was the keeper of the antiquities of the British Museum, in his book The Gods of Egypt, and also Moses Cotsworth say that these priestesses were the most learned of Egypt. Kemet. I don't like to call the word Egypt, I say Kemet. And also, according to the French mathematician Abbé Thomas Moreau, in his book The Mysterious Science of the Pharaohs, these 3 African priestesses are credited for the basis of the metric system. The metric system came from us Africans. So, here it is. For health, wealth, and spirit, you got to go back to Africa. For health, wealth, and spirit, you got to go back to Africa. For health, wealth, and spirit, you got to go back to Africa. For health, wealth, and spirit, you got to go back to Africa. Today, you see all the wealth created by Caucasian people come from nothing but technology. If you talk technology, you talk mathematics. And if you talk mathematics, you got to go back to the 3 African priestesses. They were women. African woman, you are here in America, you call yourself African American, come back home, come back home, come back home, come back home, and be real. Come back home, come back home, come back home and teach your child the powers of mathematics. Youth got to hold down that power for all of humanity. African woman, African woman, African woman, this is your time, this is your time. For health, wealth and spirit, you got to go back to Africa. For health, wealth and spirit, you got to go back to Africa. Africa, Africa, AfRAkans, AfRAkans, Africa, Africa, AfRAkans.